All right. Welcome, Alissia. We're happy to have you on the Illinois Lutheran High School podcast. So thank you for taking time to be here. So I'm just going to ask you some questions. They all relate to your career here in Illinois Lutheran High School basketball. They're all specifically mainly about basketball. My first question for you is kind of a more general question. The question that's burning in everyone's minds. Who, in your opinion, is the greatest basketball player of all time?
Michael Jordan, of course.
Michael Jordan, all right. And is there any particular reason why you would choose him over, like some would argue LeBron James or another player?
He just had that type of mindset that, I kind of walk into games with, as in like, okay, I'm going to do it like regardless of if I'm sick, I'm hurt. And, he did have a good team around him. Not saying I didn't, but he always had confidence. That makes a good player. He had positivity. He didn't have any setbacks. Nothing stopped him.
All right, so mindset. You would attribute a lot of that to his mindset, and then you also said that that's kind of the mindset that you would also apply to yourself. It's just that idea of, and I like that. Just no matter what happens, I'm going to play my best. No matter what. Excellent. Well, that segues well into my second question for you, which is, and it might be the same answer to the first question, but who inspires you to play your best in basketball?
I don't know. I feel like now, at my age, I look more like college players. So I'd say Juju Watkins for sure.
And what team do they play for?
She plays for USC, so University of Southern California.
Oh, okay, awesome. So she and same thing. Is there anything particular about this player that really sticks out to you in terms of like you want to emulate that on the court?
Yeah, she broke tons of records in her school for freshman year. She's only a sophomore now, so she's getting majority of the awards that people would be getting as like seniors or juniors, and she was getting them as freshmen.
Okay, awesome. So she has just a ton of natural talent, even at that young of an age. Okay, awesome. All right. Question number 3 is, in your opinion, what would you say is the most important skill someone needs to learn to be successful at basketball? So this is kind of asking you more about what do you think, more than anything else, makes the difference in how much success you have on the court?
I think you have to have a lot of skill, like mentally, not so much physically. Because if you have good knowledge about the game, then you don't have to do much of, shooting, dribbling. But if like plays, or how to look for your other teammates and to cut, then it's just easy from there. And then everything else will come natural.
Okay, so you would say just the strategy kind of in your mind and just knowing the game inside and out really well. I mean, as you might know, that appeals to me a little bit more than just when that's usually what I think of when I think of success of the game is like strategy, mental things, of course. I'm not as talented with the physical stuff, but if you were to give some advice as far as the physical part of it, because I think there are some people that are really good at strategy, but maybe don't have the athleticism to perform. So what would you say are some of the physical things that you would focus on for basketball?
For someone who doesn't have the physical?
Yeah, or someone that wants to get better, yes.
If you could do a lot of like repetitive stuff, like, you could just go to a set spot, shoot, and you don't have to do much from there. Like me as a player, I didn't just stand there much. I had to dribble, go around players. But if you could just get to a set spot under the basket or an easy close-in shot, then I think that.
Interesting. And I find it interesting that you said the the mental part of it precedes the physical part of it, and a lot of the physical part of basketball kind of just comes from knowing the game really well, basically. Okay, good. All right. Next question. When do you feel most fulfilled or accomplished when competing in sports in general?
I feel fulfilled when, no matter what the score or the outcome is, when, everyone is still in good spirits after the game. And we know, like, we played our best, we did our job, like, the score doesn't matter. Like, it's probably one of the best games we've ever played, even though we lost, but we did everything we could at that point, Everyone was doing their job properly, and the other team, at some point was getting frustrated with it. They came into this game thinking, oh, we're going to just win or whatever. But we still, did what we could.
All right, interesting. So you would say that when you feel most fulfilled is when everyone just plays at the highest level they can, win or lose. I think that's a really good, I really like that. I think that's a good mindset to have for something like basketball. It's just that, you're not always going to win every game, but if nobody made any mistakes, you truly can't say that it was, that you just played your best, and that was how it went, which I really like that, and I think that's a good attitude to have, is that as long as everyone is giving their all, you might even win games and people make mistakes, and you might look back on those and think, or you might have made a mistake and think, oh, like I should have done this, or I should have done that. So even though you won, the spirits might not be as high at the end of the game. Okay, very good. Next question is, so this one's a bit of a tougher question. So what is the biggest challenge you faced during your 4 years of playing basketball here at Illinois Lutheran High School?
I feel like my most repetitive challenge was not having a super big team. Like, that doesn't help when we don't have enough subs, or, someone's sick and we got to play a game with 5. It's tough. That's probably the toughest one that I've got consistently out of all 4 years.
Oh, yeah. And I imagine, smaller school, less players to work with. So that means I'm sure you had to have a lot more game time, and I'm sure that gets brutally tiring after a while. And as you said, I'm sure that was a recurring thing year to year. It's just, but I'm sure it gave you a lot of workout and a lot of time to improve. But I'm sure that the endurance you needed to have for that would have been quite a lot. I remember one of your coaches, Mr. Adix, talking about that, how that's a huge challenge. Huge challenge, for sure. All right, good. Excellent. Next question. Question number 6 here. So, were you aiming to break the school record of most points scored in girls basketball? So, remind me, I know it was over 1,000, but what was the previous record, and then what was the record you ended up with, roughly, even if you don't know the exact?
I think the record before mine was like 1,024, 1,026, somewhere in that area. And I had 1,182. So.
Wow. That's quite quite impressive, and especially to beat a school record, a previous school record. That's but were you aiming? Was that like one of your goals, or did it just happen? Or
once I found out that was the goal, and that I was only like 3 points away, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to do it all the same night. I'm gonna try to break the record. I'm gonna try to get my 1,000 points.
All right, that's awesome. So once you knew it was feasible, you were like, I gotta chase this goal, and then you really ramped things up, and then that's awesome. That's awesome. I have another question about your 1,000+ points. So question 7 is, what do you think were, if you were to say, what do you think the key factors in you achieving that record-breaking amount of points? What do you think were, these are the things I did, or the things you did, that helped you achieve that in the end?
After my sophomore year, after I came back from being injured, that ended our season, I was in the gym like all summer, like doing repetitive stuff like shooting and working with like chairs and stuff, like consistently, and that put, like, oh, I know how to do this already, so in game it's going to be easy. That put that in my head, and then, you got to go into the game with confidence of, okay, I'm going to take this shot, even if someone's standing right in front of me, or there's 3 girls there, I'm still going to try to make the layup, like, stuff like that.
So part of it, you would say, is boldness, just like taking the shot, even if it seems like you might not make it, and just obviously practicing a ton, so that, and yeah, like your one of your big inspirations, Michael Jordan, said, like, you miss 100% of shots you don't take. So just taking a lot of shots, and of course, they're, like you said, with strategy and knowing the game. Obviously, you had to know when should I take this shot, and I'm sure that all paid off over the course of your 4 years to add up to those 1,000 points. All right, excellent. So my last question for you is asking for a little bit of reflection. And you know from having me as a teacher that I love it, asking students questions to reflect. So my last question for you is, what advice do you have to offer the next girls basketball team here at Illinois Lutheran as you reflect on your 4 years of basketball here?
My advice would be to just keep going. Like, don't let other teams, other people, like, get in the way of you consistently working or wanting to do something that you genuinely like doing. Because some people, came into high school like, I don't want to play basketball, and, that's what puts us at a disadvantage when it comes to how big our team is compared to others, or, like, we know this conference team is good, so we don't want to play them. And confidence and a lot of practice of what you like doing, because it'll all pay off in the end.
Yeah, so basically just, like, even if you've never played before, even if you feel like you can't do it, or, oh, I won't be good or something, just trying and just seeing if you like it, and putting forth your all will pay dividends in the end. And like you said, the more people that join the team, the more people that are on the team, the more people there are that can improve and get better, right?
Yeah.
Which is always a good thing. And of course, as you said, a huge aspect of that too is just getting good, both in practice and outside of practice too. Just practice, doing a lot of practicing and trying all these new things, for sure, definitely. All right, those are all the questions I have for you. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for taking the time to answer these. I'm sure we all are really we were all interested in hearing what you thought of your 4 years as you reflect back on your basketball career. So thank you for joining us.
Of course.
All right.